There's so many lies about photography out there, and it's time we stop believing them. Hey everyone, my name is Zach. I'm a photographer and videographer, but more importantly than that, I'm a husband and a father. And today we're talking about the 5 big lies that I keep hearing when it comes to taking better photos or taking photos at all of our family, and the 5 truths we can use to counteract those lies. Now, maybe these are lies that you've told yourself, whether consciously or subconsciously. Maybe you've actually verbally spoken these lies to another person before when you've said something about how you want to take better photos, but you just don't know how, or you aren't able to do it. I've heard these lies so often, whether they're lies that I've been believing before, or they're lies that I've heard other people believing. And so today, I just want to get rid of them. I want to say, here are the lies, and here are the things that we can do to dispute those lies and start taking better photos of our family. If at any point in this video you like the things that I'm talking about, I would love it if you hit that like button down below. If you found this video and you're not already subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe. That would be a huge blessing for me, and I'd really appreciate it. But with that, let's jump into the lies and truths about taking photos of our family. So the first lie is, I don't know how to take photos, or I'm not good at taking photos. And that's not actually the lie. That's probably truth. You probably don't know how to take photos, and you're probably not good at taking photos. And that's not trying to be a slam against you. That's just, if you've never done it, that's where you're starting. Everyone starts there. The lie is that you don't think you can actually get to the point of taking good photos, or get to the point of whatever your photos are, sharing them with others, or that they have any sort of value. And that's the lie. The truth is, all it takes is practice and a little bit of learning. Find people who can pour into you, whether that's someone personally who you can, meet with, who is a photographer or knows a bit about photography, or is just comfortable with their camera phone. Have them teach you, or search on YouTube. There are so many resources out there to become better at the things that we want to become better at, whether that's photography or anything else for that matter. But if you want to take better photos of your family, it starts with just having the confidence to start learning and practicing. So get that lie out of your head that you're never going to be a photographer, or you're never going to take quality photos or photos that have any value, because that's not true. The truth is, you can definitely be a photographer. You can definitely take better photos of your family, and you can take photos that have value. And honestly, I would say you could take photos that have value without having any training or practice. That's all dependent upon what you put value on. But besides that, if you want to take better photos of your family, practically speaking, you just have to get out there and practice. You have to get out there and learn and commit the effort to learning what photography is, looking into things like lighting, composition, all of these different things about photography, getting into the structure of it if you want to take those better photos. And the best thing to remember is that everybody starts somewhere. You may not feel confident taking photos, even photos of your family, but that's okay. Everybody starts somewhere, and you're going to grow and you're going to get better. The next lie out there, and this is one that I hear people talking about more often, and honestly, I hear people who are more quote unquote experts on this talk about this one, not necessarily the people who want to grow or be better. But the lie is that gear doesn't matter. It's this idea that it doesn't matter what you're using to take photos, because you can use anything. You can use your phone. And yes, while that is true, I disagree with it. I think gear actually does matter. Now, I am a photographer and videographer by trade. Like, this is my job. And so I have a lot of gear, and I've used a lot of gear, and I've gotten to the point where there are specific pieces of gear that I use for specific things and not for others. When it comes to taking photos of my family, I'm not using my big cameras. I'm using this. And I'm not saying that you have to have this camera. I'm not saying you have to go out and buy a $1,000 camera or even a $500 camera. What I'm saying is it does matter what you're using. And for this reason, if it is a piece of equipment that encourages you and challenges you to actually use it, it matters. For me, I am not someone who is encouraged or challenged to use my iPhone for photos. I hate it. I'm not inspired by my phone. It does not, it's just not enjoyable for me to take photos on it. I lose my photos on there in the photo library. I hate that. you may not be that person. You may be the person who gets inspired to take photos on your iPhone, and that's perfectly fine. The thing is, gear does matter because the gear should help inspire you to use it. It should be something that draws you to using it. There are tons of different photographers out there and tons of different cameras, and there's a reason for that. People find joy in different pieces of equipment. There are people who want to be using film cameras. There are people who want to be using digital cameras. There are people who want to use digital cameras that emulate film. There are people who want to use instant cameras. There's so many different things out there. And I think it just boils down to, what is the piece of gear, what is the camera that you enjoy using? Because what you enjoy using, you're actually going to use. If you don't enjoy using your iPhone like me, you're not going to use it. And if that's the only piece of camera gear you have, then you're not going to get photos. So gear does matter in a sense. You just have to find that piece of gear or that camera that speaks to you and that encourages you to use it. The next lie out there that I see a lot of people believing is that you have to take good photos for social media. Whereas the truth is you have to take photos for yourself, not for social media. Social media can be an amazing place where you can get inspiration. You can, view art. It can also be a place that just breeds despair or jealousy if you don't feel like you're taking good photos. And the truth here is that you don't need to take photos for social media. Take photos for your own personal archive, for your own personal photo books. If you want to post photos on social media, that's totally fine. Like I do, but I have way more photos that I don't post. And because for me, I'm taking photos for my own family's archive. I want my kids to be able to have photos that they look back on when they're adults. I want them to see their growth, see their progression, see the progression of our family throughout time. And social media isn't the place for me to post those sort of things. I'll post photos time to time, but that's more so just to share with, friends and family who don't live nearby, and, allow my parents to see photos and friends to see photos, things like that. But I'm taking photos for my own personal archive, not for social media. I think that's what we need to remember, because when we have the mindset of, I need to take a good photo for Instagram, well, then we get into the weeds about it needs to look good, or it needs to look better than this person's, or we start to compete and get jealous and all these different things, when that's not the point of taking photos of our family. The point of taking photos of our family is to preserve memories. So the truth is remembering that you don't have to take photos for social media. You're taking photos for your own personal archive. The next one is one that I've found myself believing at times, and it's that if I don't take photos of my kid, there will still be photos around of them. Whereas the truth is, if you don't take photos of your kid, most likely you're not going to have photos of your kid when they get older. Because the truth is, other people are not out there taking photos of your family. You have to be the one to preserve these memories. That's our responsibility as parents. And some people just don't care about that, and that's totally fine. But if you're someone who wants to take photos of your family, you want to have these memories preserved, and I'm hoping you are since you're watching this, you have the responsibility of actually having to take those photos. It's one of those things that it can be easy for us to put off doing the task because it's overwhelming or it's intimidating. The problem is, when we do that, we suffer, but also our family suffers, because then we're not preserving those memories. We're not taking the pictures. We're not actually doing the thing that we set out to do. We're stopped by the fears. We're stopped by the lies. So the truth that we have to remember is that if you don't take photos of your family, no one else will. And then the last lie is just, I don't know where to start. And this is probably the one that I hear most often. Truth is, doesn't matter where you start. Just start. Just start somewhere. If that means you're taking photos on your phone, if that means you're pulling out your family's old point and shoot camera that you had 10 years ago, if that means you're going out and buying a camera, it doesn't matter. There's no wrong direction if you're moving towards the thing you want to be doing. So just start. And as you start, you'll get better. Day by day, you will get better at whatever your goal is with this. If it's just simply taking more photos of your family, well, then just start. Tomorrow you'll have one more photo of your kids than you did yesterday. You know what I mean? If your goal is to take better photos, well, then start there too. Just start taking and then look at your photos. Figure out, okay, what is wrong with this photo? What can I learn from this photo? Start looking up YouTube videos about how to take better photos. Start learning about things like lighting and composition and color and all these different elements of photography. Doesn't matter where you start. Just start somewhere. And the rest of that stuff will come along the way. You know, this isn't like a book where you have to follow the pages page by page or chapter by chapter. This is kind of a, you know, create your own adventure in a sense. Like, you can start anywhere. The key is just, you got to start. If you want to take more photos of your family, if you want to take better photos of your family, just start doing it. And stop believing the lies that I don't know what I'm doing, or I don't know where to start, or I don't have the right equipment, or I don't this, that, or the other. Don't let the lies win. If you want to take better photos of your family, you are capable of doing that. You are able to do that, and you will enjoy that. You will learn and you will grow, and it'll be hard at times. There will be times where you don't want to take photos. There are plenty of times where I don't want to take photos, or I get caught up comparing my photos to other people's photos. You just have to come back to the truths and ignore the lies. That's it for today's video. 5 lies, 5 truths. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, if you enjoyed it, please do like, subscribe if you're not already, and I hope to see you in another video.